This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes, I've heard that before. I've heard it again, and I'll hear it until the end. That is for sure. Anyways, how are you doing? Today is Wednesday. That would be Whip 'em Out Wednesday, just in case. April the 26th of 2023, day 116th of the year, and only 249 days remaining. So we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. Why do I always want to sing Florida? Like, is it that great that I feel like I need to sing it? I think it is, but that's the way that it goes. And we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined.
Okay, so let's talk about it. What have you done in the last 23, 24, or 21 hours since we more than likely last hung out? Because, listen, there has been a lot of stuff going on inside of the news world. And a lot of stuff going on industry-wise in regards of what's going on. I will tell you, I've seen events. I've seen things that are going on in North America that are pretty interesting. I've seen people question some Jengas, question Legos, and all kinds of fun stuff as we are talking. So, I don't know. As I get into our little industry, I always kind of go, it's one of those things that I enjoy being involved in the industry, and there's another thing that sometimes there's portions of the industry that I question. But I think that's been every industry that I've ever been involved with, just because of how things go. So, do you sit back and question a lot of the things? I don't know if you do or not. Anyway, so let's talk about some things that are going to be important. If you want to interact with the show, it's easy to do so. Callinradio.com. If you're on the video feed, you'll see it. Say it right there on the bottom. Text messaging, audio messaging, video messaging, and just straight up voice messaging, because, that's important as we are talking. The other portion that it happens here is that we talk about safety in the news and safety. Yeah, some people get all weirded out about that. It's like, you need to only focus on safety because you are the safety show. Like, no, we're talking a little bit about everything. So we just have to deal with it. Just deal with it on how it goes. Preferred format of taking a listen to us on, of course, is the audio format. That would be Safety FM and Radio Big. We are a radio show first, secondary to everything else, video and podcast. But you can still catch us live on the Streamer-emer on Radio Big. So just a little info there. So there you go. Streamer Eamer, Radio Big. You can catch us, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and you can just tune in to listen to the radio. You get it? So there you go. So let's start talking right away about what the hell was going on with the trends, because why would we not talk about what was trending?
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so the trends and what we're going to talk about today. A long missing ancient Roman bust will return home after spending decades collecting dust in the U.S. And a Japanese space company regroups after a botched moon landing. Yeah, a botched moon landing. So we'll get to talk a little bit about that. Also, President Joe Biden and Speaker Kevin McCarthy still aren't talking as the debt ceiling deadline looms. We'll talk about that as we get swampy. John Stamos got the Olsen twins fired from Full House, and a fan is suing Morgan Wallen over his no-show. We'll talk about that. Harrison Ford is hanging up the whip, and Brian Cox will host James Bond's themed reality competition show. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Travis Barker says that enemas are the key to success. We can talk about that because that's going to be confusing for some people. And let's see. New court filings. Yes, new court filings suggest that a shady deal between royal family and handlers and media executive. We'll talk all about that. Keep in mind that this is a 3-hour show. And normally when we start getting into the entertainment news stuff, that's normally an hour 2 and 3 that you can hear on Radio Big. So just information purposes in regards of letting you know that info. Should I talk about this already? Are we there? Are we already at that point? I think we should. I think we are. I think we are. Let's talk about this real quick. So here it is. Finally, the proper finally the proper documentation in regards of what is going on. So yes, our event is finally happening. September the 27th through the 29th in Orlando, Florida. The Conklin Conference, yes, it will be happening September 27th through the 29th. If you want to come and hang out, you can find out more information at safetyfm.io. Tickets officially will go on sale tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. So just so you know, safetyfm.io for more information. Anyway, so let's start talking about what the hell's going on inside of the world of the news, because I got people waiting at the desk saying, is it news time yet? Is it news time yet? And yes, it's always news time, because that's what we do. So here's the news. Let's do that.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
You are listening to a renowned safety expert, Dr. Jay Allen, on Safety FM. Changing safety cultures, one broadcast and one podcast at a time. Join the fun on social media and find us on Facebook at Safety FM.
Make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference. and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
He's the man. It's awesome, funny, random, doesn't make any sense, but it's good.
Jay Allen in the morning on radio.
Okay, there you go. 17 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this fantastic Whip 'em Out Wednesday. The amount of pictures and weird shit that I get on Whip 'em Out Wednesday is just amazing to me sometimes. But we can have that conversation for a different day. So there you go. Let's talk about what's on the top of the shit list, because that's what we do around here. Of course, that's what we do. So the mission by the Japanese company to safely land the first privately funded spacecraft on the moon, well, kind of failed. The Haratu R mission 1 lander successfully made it to the lunar orbit in March, but after initiating the protocol to land at the Atlas crater, mission control back on Earth never got the signal from where it touched down. It did, however, relay data that it descended into the lunar surface, which scientists will analyze to try to figure out what went wrong, which I would hope so, because they are, scientists. The unsuccessful landing also means that there are 2 rovers that cannot be deployed. One belonged to the Japanese Space Agency, and the other belonged to the UAE space program. They would have been the first lunar rovers for each country. So there you go. I mean, this is where you have success and failure, because now you have some learnings here, or at least I hope you have some learnings. Yes, it did probably cost you a shitload of money in that particular regards, but hey, it's one of those things that's the way the cookie crumbles.
More sarcasm than Mortal Kombat Beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
So take a listen to this. What a 2,200-year-old Roman bust is making its way back home to Germany after being sold to Goodwill in Austin, Texas for $35 in 2018. As how the bus ended up in the States, well, it is believed that it had been stolen in the 1950s by a U.S. soldier who swiped it from a storage unit. Prior to it being placed into the storage unit, the piece was housed by a replica known as Papajanu. Yes, Papajanu. It is unknown for sure who the bust is a recreation of, but some curators say that the San Antonio Museum of Art, where it's currently being displayed, believe that it could be Roman military leader Sextus Pompey. According to the museum, the artifact, along with the 2 other Roman sculptures, will travel back to Germany next month. This is according to CNN. So there you go. $35. That's what it's sold for? I mean, that doesn't seem like a good deal. I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. Anyways, Mattel has revealed the first ever Barbie with Down syndrome, an effort to inspire all children to tell more stories through play. In a new doll part of 2023, the Fashionista line, which champions diversity according to the toy company, in effort to accurately represent the persons with Down syndrome, Mattel collaborated with the National Down Syndrome Society, NDSS. This is coming via People. So there you go. So what do you think? What do you think? It's interesting, right? I mean, interesting on how that works. Anyways, two pups flew in style from the UK to their new home in Brooklyn, New York earlier this month after the owners were shocked over the cost and stress of flying them commercially. After researching the best ways to travel across the Atlantic with dogs, owners Maddie and Steven were stunned when they saw the price of between $7,000 to $14,000 price tag to fly them as a cargo on a commercial plane. Another issue they came across was that several airlines don't fly certain breeds, such as those with flat face, like pugs, pug violet. So the second option was the owner discovered traveling via ocean liner, but with came a 2-year waiting list. 2 years. Maddie eventually found a Facebook group that it was looking for people to charter a private plane and travel with their pets and split the cost. With 8 dogs and 10 humans, Maddie and Steven ended up paying about $8,700 for the 4 of them to fly to their new home. So hold on. The price was $7,000 to $14,000 per dog, and they ended up paying $8,700 to share the price. Was there no affordable dogs in the U.S.? I mean, I'm just asking the question. I mean, what was so special about these damn dogs that they had to come from a totally different country? I'm just asking.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so take a listen to this. A new poll from Wall Street Journal shows that the happiest people in America tend to be older women who believe in God and value marriage, community, and close personal ties. Hey now. The survey of 1,019 adults revealed that 56% of Americans are pretty happy, while 12% reported being very happy. There was a little difference between those who identify as Republican or Democrat, and money was not a factor for their level of happiness. This is according to the Wall Street Journal. So there you go. Now you have the info. So there you go. There you go. Anyways, I guess we have some breakup news, but we'll talk about that during hour 2 and 3 because you're not going to care about that here. So let's talk about the swamp because we have to get swampy. Listen to this. Yeah. So let's get swampy real quick. Instead of sitting down to negotiate about the debt ceiling increase, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and President Joe Biden are trading barbs through prepared statements sent to their underlings. The White House says the Republicans' insistence that the debt ceiling increase is met with spending cuts is an act of American manufacturing, American law enforcement, and American families. McCarthy says that President Biden's reckless spending has already threatened the financial well-being of every American family, and now his responsible refusal to negotiate with Speaker McCarthy threatens the entire American economy with the first default in history. Yes, the first default in history. Either way, Republicans will get accused for not spending enough, and Democrats will get accused for spending too much. I mean, it's just kind of the way that it goes, right? I mean, I don't know. This is why I have such a hard time talking about this because it's like, you want to talk about it, you don't want to talk about it, you want to go through it, you don't want to go through it. Who the hell knows? Well, let's talk about money for a moment. But you know who I want to bring in to do that? I want to bring in some John Smalls because he knows about it. Okay, John Small for the information right there on what is going on inside of the world now. The Dow lost about 344 points to close at 33,530 on Tuesday. The S&P lost about 65 points to close at 4,071, and the Nasdaq lost about 238 points to close at 11,799. West Texas Intermediate closed at $77 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $80 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.65 on Tuesday, and Bitcoin was up over 0.9% on Tuesday, trading over $27,700. There was more than 2,325 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Tuesday, and more than 110 cancellations. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $37 million jackpot or a $19.6 million cash payout. So there you go. There you go. There you go. So if you want to play the game, I guess you have the opportunity to do so. I'm going to share this real quick, which I normally would do in hour 2 or 3, but I was kind of surprised to hear this. You are aware of Carrie Fisher, right? The lady that played Princess Leia in the Star Wars movies. Did you know that she does not have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? Which I don't understand how that's even possible, but listen to this. Carrie Fisher will be honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame next month. The event will take place on May the 4th, a.k.a. Star Wars Day. She will join stars and co-stars Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford, who already have stars. Fisher's daughter, Billie Lourd, will be on hand to accept for her mother on her mother's behalf because, of course, her mother had passed away. But I thought it was very interesting. I mean, as popular as that movie is, I was surprised to hear that she did not have a star already on there. Maybe that's just me. Anyways, take a listen to this. A bomb threat is to blame for putting an Illinois university on lockdown on Tuesday. Bradley University in Peoria notified students of the faculty to shelter in place last night after the threats were revealed. Okay, that's Bradley University Police Chief. Peoria police officers conducted a sweep of the campus, which was on lockdown until late last night. The all clear was eventually given and classes should be resuming today. Key word there, should be resuming today. Anyways, Los Angeles, this is what's coming out of Los Angeles, California. More than 1,000 people have been injured in police pursuits in Los Angeles over the past 5 years. A new report says the Los Angeles Police Department says that on behalf of who were hurt were innocent bystanders, which has police commissioner like Maria Lu Calanche wondering if changes are needed. A quarter of all pursuits in the past 5 years have ended in injuries or death. So far this year, 7 police have been injured in police pursuits in LA, and 3 have been killed. The 2 pursuits that ended up deadly crashes were both in San Fernando Valley. LA Commissioner President William Briggs questions if chasing suspects is always necessary. Chief Michael Moore says that he is not ready to immediately change the LAPD's pursuit policy, but is open to exploring options. Okay, so auto theft is down. Deaths are kind of high up. I mean, not high up, but you have 2 so far this year. Let me ask a weird question here. So is the value of life or the value of property more important? Now, I'm not saying let people run for it, but geez, man, what the hell's going on out there? I mean, there's so many weird things depending on what state that you're in. Oh, it's not theft unless it's considered $900 or more, depending on where the hell you're located. So I can just rob you in broad daylight, and as long as it's less than $900, it's perfectly fine. I mean, how weird is this that we're getting into?
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this. This one's coming out of San Diego, California. If you think that you're seeing flying bugs these days, you're right. Bree Tennis has more on what the hell's going on with the windshield phenomenon. hold on, you only come out when it's 75 degrees. What planet are you living on? Because that's not the case. I'm just throwing that out there, just some information right there. Anyways, take a listen to this. The White House's hopeful Nikki Haley says that America must come to an agreement on abortion. Trey Thomas reports. Okay, so there you go. Thank you, Trey Thomas, for the information here. I mean, I don't know what you think about that. That's going to be one of those subjects that is going to vary so heavily depending on where you're located. Because I can say something, and this is a national platform in regards of where you can hear what the hell we have going on, where I will tell you some people in the state might agree or disagree with what I have going on, but I think that that's any conversation that you have about that particular subject. Anyways, let's talk about this. Heavy rains and snow have southern Colorado homeowners bracing for tree damage. Tree service experts say, like Front Range arborist owner Tom Flynn, recommending getting a professional help to avoid getting hurt. Colorado Springs Forestry Department says that trees on sidewalks and on medians are likely to happen in city properties. A downed tree can be reported online on a city's website, but if a tree property causes damage, it's the homeowner's responsibility to clean it up. Colorado Springs homeowner Jim Henke says that he had several trees on his properties that fall on his house during the past storms. Yeah, I don't want to live with the stress either. I mean, I don't think you're the only one. Anyways, arborists have the highest level of fatalities inside of their industry in regards to what's going on. I'm just throwing that out there just for information purposes. Anyways, it is 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so maybe it's time to do that thing that we do right around now. I mean, no, seriously, maybe we should do that right now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, Rated R Safety Show, main story. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff to talk about. It's a lot of stuff to think about. And it is a lot of stuff to sit down and say, hey, it is Whip 'em Out Wednesday. Okay, maybe that's not what we're supposed to be saying. But we should talk about this. We should talk about the things that are important. And I will say this, and I will say this, and I will continue to say this for probably as long as I'm on this planet, that communication is the most important thing that we will do. Communication within our industry is always the important portion. And listen, there is this thing of communication and there is this thing of comprehension, but we are talking about the communication standpoint on what the hell we're talking about. And listen, just because you say something does not mean that it is perceived in the way that you meant to say it. And we continue to have these issues where we want to say something, but we have this terrible habit of not communicating it properly throughout the organization. Now, I want you to think about this for a moment. I want you to think about going into your organization and talking to your CEO. Now, if you are the CEO, I'm not saying for you to talk in the mirror. But if you are the CEO, then now we're talking about you talking to your board. But let's think about that. If you're talking to your CEO, you will probably use language and financials and different things than what you would use with other members inside of your workforce. Just kind of the way that it goes. It's the most common analogy in that particular regards. And why do I say this? Well, the reason that I say this is for the following. You're going to mention black lines. You're going to mention how the things will actually work so that way you don't actually go into the red for financial purposes. And these are going to be the conversations that you have. Now, on the other side, where the people that are closer to actually doing the work day in and day out, you're not going to talk about financials. You're not going to talk about going in the red. You're going to talk about injury prevention and fatality prevention is normally the two conversations that you're going to have. Well, you can have a whole other conversation about the injury prevention, but we'll leave it at that at the moment. But I want you to think about this. As you're having those conversations, the communication is much different. And listen, if you have a workforce that is extremely diverse and you are not required for English to be the primary language, then the communication pieces change even more. And there's nothing wrong against that. And I'm talking about mostly being based here in the U.S., so let's make sure that we're clear. I don't want to cause any kind of confusion with that. So you're going to have different segs that you're going to do. The different segments that are going to end up taking place is that you're going to communicate differently. Like there are some places that I've been to that they love to communicate via posters. I have been to other places where they love to communicate via emails, where they like to communicate via text messages. And don't ever get me into a transportation industry where they communicate with the drivers, the vehicle operators via text messaging, because that just doesn't make sense to me, but we'll leave it at that. But when you start doing the communication, it varies. Some people are audible learners, listen to me, audio learners. Some people are visual learners. Some people have to do the touchy-feely stuff to make sure that that's the way that they learn. So there's a variety of different things that you have to do. So as you look at that and as you talk about it, how does that come across for you? How do things go? I mean, I don't know. I have such a hard time sometimes in regards of talking about some of this because it seems that because everybody learns so differently, some people get offended if you don't mention the way that they learn. Think about it for a moment. If I tell you I am going to send you an audio book in regards of this is what I think you should learn, and you're the visual type, the note taker type, you're not going to appreciate the audiobook side of the equation. It's just kind of how it goes. And it's perfectly fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. But think about it for a moment. Communication is key within the organization. So are you open to having different formats on how you communicate with people? The way that you normally would speak to a CEO might be different to how you speak to a team member that's out in the field doing the work. And let me explain what I mean there. I'm not talking about respect here, because you should respect everyone equally. I'm talking about the communication on what detailed information might be involved. Now, if you work in one of these groups that the team members are all portion of the owners, a co-op, if one may call it that, that's a different conversation all across the board. So these are the things to think about as we do move forward. It might make you question some things, but think about the level of communication on how things can change. At one point, maybe we'll have the conversation a little bit more detailed on how you can make that look prettier across the board.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobile.io. That's mobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're going to go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
It's my kind of music.
I get the best mix of my favorite music.
All on one radio station.
Another wild ride is around the corner on Radio Big. If you think local radio sucks, wait till you hear our free-form station, Radio Big.
I can be the real thing. 44 minutes past the top of the hour. This is Ruler featuring Miranda. Yeah, the ruler. Do a little bit of everything, guys. Still listening to the Rated R Safety Show. Hour number 1 of the Jay Allen Morning Show. Radio Big Safety. Maybe we should just merge them and call it that. Rule your dynasty. So there you go. There you go. So let's get into it. We'd like to thank Chill Winston for this. You can go to Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube YouTube music. Do a little screen action if you want to. So let's get back into it because, hour number one is coming to a close end of this thing. You really need to hang out for hour number 2 and 3 if you don't already by going over to Radio Big. We do not podcast it. It's only a live stream, and we don't do anything else there. I mean, I'm being serious. So it's not like, oh, here's the recording of it. And here's the funny part. I don't even record it. No, I really don't. I don't record any of it in regards of what's going on, for I can listen to it post-event. So there you go. So take a listen to this. I'm going to tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. And listen, I will tell you, we all go through struggles from time to time, and I want you to know that you're not alone. You are not alone. You can text the word TALK to 741-741. That's the crisis text line that's available in the U.S. and Canada. There's a crisis text line in the UK. All you have to do is text the word SHOUT, S-H-O-U-T, to 85258. If you're in Ireland, text the word HOME to 50808. And if you want to call the National Suicide Lifeline or text them, all you have to do is call 988. Seriously. And Trans Life phone number, Trans Lifeline, 877-565-8860. And the Trevor Project, 866-488-7386. All these resources are available at To Write Love on Her Arms. All you have to do is click on the section that says Find Help. Go to TWLOHA.com. Listen, I think that this subject matter is so important. I'm going to say it once again. If you are in Florida this weekend and you are in the Orlando-ish area, right on the outskirts of Orlando, there's a little town called Melbourne. They will be doing an event right there that you can attend. This is one of the many events they have going on, but this is the one that's coming up this weekend. And it'll be on Saturday in Melbourne, Florida. And it's going over information it's called the Show Up Fest. I mean, and the other event that they have going on this weekend is at the Project Glow Festival. So you can go there. So all kinds of stuff. Remember that the month of May is Mental Health Month. So all kinds of stuff to go through. You can actually just go to their website, To Write Love on Her Arms, TWLOHA.com, and click on the section that says events. So there you go. Anyways, let's get into some other news that is going on inside of the world. Let's talk about some money mistakes for a moment. There is a big money mistake that you should be careful to avoid because it could ruin your marriage. Personal finance advisor Ramadi Sethi, the host of the new Netflix series How to Get Rich, says that couples who fail to discuss their finances and implement a plan of action to save could pay big time when it comes to fighting about money. The host goes that he feels the biggest mistake that we make is avoid our money. By that, he means that we wait until something comes up and then we react to it. If we do that for the next 50 years, according to him, couples generally lack vision and their money should be what their money should do for them. Quote, people will argue over how much one person spends at Target, and we got to stop asking the $3 question and start asking the $30,000 question. He feels that 5 to 10% of couples' earnings should go into savings and that another 5 to 10% should go into investments, which is exactly what we do, assuming that he owns shares of Amazon. So why, whenever my wife goes to Target, I actually end up asking the $30,000 question? I mean, I'm just saying. Just asking the question there.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so take a listen to this. Since the launch of late last year of ChatGPT has been used to generate student essays, write wedding vows, and even compose rousing sermons. Now a Japanese city has revealed plans to use the AI chatbot to help run the government. Yakuza City, has announced that last week will begin using ChatGPT to help administer those tasks. A news release, no doubt, written by an AI, said that the employees will be authorized to use the chat box to summarize sentences, spell check errors, and create ideas. The move was made in part to respond to the country's dwindling population crisis, and the release says that the ChatGPT is handling the administrative tasks. Staff can focus on work and can only be done by people pursuing forward an approach to bring happiness to their citizens. It's not like we haven't been governed for generations already by people who are with artificial intelligence. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there, just something to think about. And so, are you ready for this really persuasive AI-generated spam emails? Well, here you go, because they're coming. John Liccato, assistant professor of computer science and director of AMHR Lab at the University of South Florida, says that the use of AI could allow spammers to target individuals and make their message more persuasive based on the easily accessible information such as social media posts. He believes that both spammers and legit marketers could benefit from being able to predict more about individuals, quickly learning about their political leanings, marital status, or life priorities. That also means that spammers might find it easier to sneak past your email filter and have the right approach, and by using choice words, entice you to actually open and read it. And as it's to promise a $20 Walmart gift card that doesn't already work for me. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. Just some options as we are talking. I mean, I don't know. Do you think this AI thing is all what it's all cracked up to be? I was listening to some stuff yesterday talking about AI, and they were talking about the potential of the creation of little g. Yes, I did say little g. If you really get bored at some point today, do a little Google search action and look up little g in AI, and it might open your eyes into some different things that you didn't expect. I'm just letting you know that it's there. Anyways, it is 52 minutes past the top of the hour. I think that we need some motivation in our life. So let's go ahead and bring some John Smalls in.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, when she says enjoy the little things in life, what exactly is she talking about? I think I need some more information there. Anyways, currently 54 minutes past the top of the hour as we are still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. Anyways, let's take a look around at some other things. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. And as I take a look around, let's see. Back in 2021, the U.S. Census results showed that the population growth for the second slowest in recorded history. The total population recorded at 33 331,449,281. That's only a 7.4% increase since 2010. So there you go. Still sounds like a lot of people to me. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays for today. Aaron Judge turns 31. Channing Tatum turns 43. Jordana Brewster, 43. Stana Kartik turns 45. Tom Welling turns 46. Jason Earls, 46. Melania Trump and Tiana Watkins turns 53. Kane the Wrestler turns 56. Kevin James, 58. Jet Li, 60. And Carol Burnett turns 90 today. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, let's talk about some of those. It's National Richter Scale Day, National Library Day, International Guide Dog Day, Get Organized Day, National Help a Horse Day, Alien Day, Hug an Australian Day, International Chernobyl Remembrance Day, World Burley Day, National Administrative Professional Day, and here's one that goes even more special. Take a listen. This is National Pretzel Day. Okay, so there you go. Some interesting things about pretzels and the day that you can celebrate because of them. I don't think it gets any weirder than that. Okay, so there you go. If you need a random joke for today, I'm pretty sure that I can have one of those. Shouldn't be an issue whatsoever. It should sound something like this. My mother was not a good cook. I didn't realize how bad until I went to the army. Seriously, think about that for a moment. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What would be an accurate tagline for a month? Think about it. Think about it. There's some good ones there. Also, if you need a question for the water cooler, try this. 15% of people say that this is a talent they wish they had. What is it? Dancing. Dancing where exactly? Oh, that's a whole other question that we could probably talk about. So anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. Thank you for hanging out and doing the things that you do around here, because without you, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do what we do around here. That is for sure. Anyways, if you want to come and take a listen to what the hell I have going on, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm. All you have to do is go to radiobig.fm, and that will get you into the website, or you can listen to us on the apps, the different apps that are available out there, the streaming apps, the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, or you can just go to the Radio Big app. That's an option as well in regards of getting everything moving and grooving. So if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Do not fear to be eccentric in opinion, for every opinion now accepted was once eccentric. Think about it. Think about that for a moment. It might take you places that you'd never been before. Anyways, if you stay here on Safety FM, Sheldon Prime is coming up next with the Safety Consultant Show. If you want to take a listen to that, or like I said, you can go to radiobig.fm. Thank you for being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.